I'm good. Hi, guys. Afternoon. You've got the wicked Lady Hippy at the bar. Since you see everything is moving, it's not an earthquake. Well, not really. It's just me. Let's see, guys. It's going to be a quick day for me. I always say that, and it never is. It ought to be, but it's not. Here, the weather has dropped tremendously. Freezing rain. It might as well be. It feels like it to me. It's just cold ass rain. I'm telling you. Heavy droplets pouring down. I worry because we do have a bit of an animal sanctuary, especially cats. And I'm hoping they're in the kind of cobbled to tent that my husband set up so we could just throw the plants in there because my hothouse was uh, destroyed by the hurricanes. Well, it was actually the tornado. It spun off. Longer story. We no longer have a forest behind us. Really a bummer. I can see neighbors from flapping everywhere. Had plenty of. All I had was a chain link fence, and it was about a half an acre. And we loved that because we had dogs, and our dogs waiting for us on the other side. So we don't really need to put the chain link up again because it took up that too. We were just lucky. I like to have what I call a stiffener when I'm up here before I jump into too much stuff that people want to shoot me about. Nowadays, that may not be just a joke. Reminds me of these little whiskey fireballs. Now, I tend to put them in here with a little bit of ice because I kind of like my whiskey on the rocks. So it'd be a little colder. And yeah, I kind of am a whiskey drinker. I don't drink ordinarily, excuse me. But when I drink, I really drink. Let's see. I've been meaning to clean these glasses for like, I don't know, 3 days. Just never got back to it. Don't know why. But they're going to get cleaned now. So hopefully y'all won't be saying, oh, you've got stuff on your glasses. The stiffener, I call it that. And the little air, I call it the little airline bottles. But I won't flag it because I was like this last time. I mean, and they could put this, they pushed this cart down the middle. Must have been 3-4 inches wide. That was, would you like a cracker? I'm like, do I look like I could freaking eat a cracker like this? I would walk for it. How many people are packing in planes nowadays? Jesus. They need to go back. I love Pan American and all of that because, I mean, you had 4 seats, two on either side. That was it. They trundled down the cart. You could have anything. Back then, they were stewardesses. You wanted a pillow, by God, you rang a bell, they wrote you a pillow, and they didn't bitch at all. And you couldn't tip them. I loved them. I thought they were great. This time, not so much. There we go. There I can see you. Forgive me. Like I said, it's just pouring down right here. And I trotted the dress out. I can't really show it off. I had made some alterations to it. And it's a great little. It felt really heavy to me, and I brought the hem up to just above the shoes. You want it just above your shoes, if you want it full length. It's not in the floor, but it's just barely peeping your shoes, and that's not an easy middle to get to. But it's floor length, A line, and it's one of those that's almost like pleated. So I call it a cupcake dress. I could wear this thing to a wedding. I mean, I wear it to Walmart. Today I'm wearing it because the postman might stop by. So I do this. I actually rate these, so I do get a lot of my shopping for free, and I like that. Everybody likes free. The stiffness because I was raised by parents. I was an orphan, and they adopted myself and my sister, and they were World War IIers, Depression, World War One. They were not young. But all the women, we used to get together back in them days, back at Labor Day and 4th of July picnics. The neighbors came. It was one of those things. You actually knew it was a holiday. Of course, the men just sat around drinking. I think the women actually barbecued, but it's burning. Well, it was a fun time to grow up. But the women, if they got tired, if they didn't like the discussion or what have you, sometimes they may have been actually true. In any event, they would faint. They'd faint on the couch. They'd faint on the chair. Faint, somebody catching them. Those women never hit a floor. Not one floor. So the men would say, go get some hooch after they woke him up with that little ammonia thing. Then it woke up everybody in the house when they cracked one of them. So you go get the lady. They were a bit bigger glasses than these. And that'd be a stiffener. And they would sip it. And it might be, they'd say, go get the hooch. Like I said, they were moonshine runners. So, again, another idea about this. So I liked all that. I said, okay, I could never faint. No matter what I did, I could not faint. And so finally I was like, okay, I'll just do the stiffener and I just won't faint. Which took me a while because I'm like, well, I'm not getting any younger. We'll put it that way. I have to watch that. I have some music on in the background because I really like to do that. I had one that said you were playing somebody, and that's a copyright. I was like, who knew? I mean, it was on the radio. Anybody could. Okay. And so I actually, excuse me, I actually have to be careful what I say, which I knew already. But I mean, like as far as advertising or something like that goes. So I can't give a shout out to the company I get a lot of stuff from because I do all that stuff. So if you see me, hit the like, hit the dislike. I give a real shit. I really just do something. Click on it. Okay. We all have to say that because we have channels and we're not sure how much longer that YouTube is going to let we poor people keep our channels because I don't pay for this. I think it's a fascinating medium. It's like Woodstock to me without the mud and well, and the topless people, but the men might need to think about that. I mean, we don't want you topless. I don't usually drop. I'm moving that around a little bit. I don't usually drop videos unless I'm asked. I kind of think it's plagiarism because I don't know how many times it's been seen. If it's been seen 4 million times, why would I put it up here? It's been done to death. So I don't care what you want to talk about. UFOs, ghosts, politics, religion. When I was growing up, you didn't talk about politics or religion. And if you turn on CNN and if you believe the shit they're talking about, that's why we didn't talk about it. Because somebody's bound to be stupid enough to believe in that shit. And the other one's going to call them a stupid shit because they believe in that shit. So he left us alone. As far as religion, I just ask, and I have an actual, they found me, I was adopted, everything, yada, yada, yada. I'm Army veteran, published author, mother of one, grandmother of two. He's also now an Army veteran like me. He did the Korea thing, got home, he left. I did not blame him. I worried the whole time. I was in peacetime right after NAM. We were in the first company of women to train with the men. We landed, and I thought, okay, we're going to have to go to a different airport. I mean, another airplane, because we were supposed to be going to Fort McClellan, Alabama, for WAC training, Women's Auxiliary Corps. And they didn't have any women in the Army except in the WAC Corps, the Wave Corps, the WAF, that kind of thing. So you were back, supplies and all that stuff, and nursing and secretaries. That's what I could do both. So I trained to do both. Went to college before I got there. Had stripes. Not the smartest move I could have made because where we landed was Fort Jackson, South Carolina. We landed in Columbia, South Carolina. And we were told it took a while. They kept us up for 3 days doing this, doing that. The shots were fun. Watching the men about every fourth one fall face first. I'm sorry, guys, but it was so funny. We heard many of the men say, "Oh, they'll never be able to get that." Not one of the women fainted, not one. The men were all over the floor. And it was so hard for me because I was very thin. Thank you. I know I still look good. Y'all are so sweet to me. But I was very thin then and nothing fit because this was the men's army. This was at the WACs. The uniforms for the WACs that were Class A were skirts, of course. They didn't come out with the pantsuit until I think it was 79 when I was still there and I was able to get pantsuits. I love those things. They didn't wrinkle. They were so awesome. I was always ironing and stitching and putting on chevrons, and we had brass, and it had to be shiny. You had to put it in the right place. They come up to you with a fracking ruler, man, and say, that ain't right. Drop it, give me, they weren't kidding. And then I saw my grandson, and I always worked around the base and until like the last 10 years or before I retired. And I had noticed the uniforms were getting awful. And I just thought that was on base. We weren't allowed to wear fatigues off base. You had to wear Class A, which you could get altered back then. Thank God. It took forever to get some back that were camo. So you couldn't wear that off base. Unless you were coming to a fro, because some of us lived off base. I did that as well at Fort Sam. You had a little more freedom than you do in the barracks, and you don't have to do fire duty anymore because that's all night long. So those were fun. So yeah, and TV went off back then at like, I think maybe it was midnight, but it was the Star Spangled Banner went to a white screen, blurred screen. Yeah. So you couldn't even stay awake with that. Couldn't have a radio. They didn't allow radio. You have a TV. Quiet, black and white in the corner or some shit. Which is what we all ended up with. And it was on. And you were getting relieved till 8, man. You done been up, because that's how the rotation went. You done served all day. Your regular, service and whatever you were there to do. I was attached, and everybody fought because I was a secretary and and nurse. Never been enough. Nothing other than admire them. A little frightening at sometimes. Let me tell you, I got some stories. Could be why I'm so well. Let's just say this is probably the way that's the way I am. I need another one of these. So to cover that ground, we know about me. I haven't seen any of you guys. Of course, I forgot to throw my live chat in. I'm on live. Usually, I always do this live, guys, in the hopes that most of you that I might see or that might hear me or might like to get on, I could do it in live time. Because I generally, like I touched on, I don't do the videos. It just seems mean and plagiaristic to get those. Plus, I'm at the bar, and it's just too much fun. Just talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. If you see me and you decide that you like me, please put the like in. If you don't, put it in the comments. And if you do, put it in 3 or 4 comments. Like for a week. I do not make any money doing this, of course not. I would not be adverse to making money to do this. No, I would not. I would be very happy to do that. But I don't. I think it's an amazing thing. It maybe because, like I said, I came from black and white TV. And so all of this is amazing to me. And I don't know. At first I thought, well, there's not many podcasts on like Joe Rogan and Shay Shay. I even like Bill Maher. When he was politically incorrect, he was great. But he became so, I don't know. He's coming out of it a little bit. He did go to the White House and have dinner. He brought all the swear words that the president called him. He signed it anyway. Donnie don't give a shit. I call him Donnie. My favorite is Pocahontas. I love that shit. Gulf of America. Go Donnie. Go Donnie. When Hillary heard it for the first time, and she cracked up, man. Bill's over there trying to get a shot out, and she does fairly rapidly, but it made me fall off the couch laughing at her reaction. I was like, change something else, come on. So he took out the ace. I love this guy. I didn't think I liked him, but at the first go around, I liked his sense of humor. And I did not like how everybody was so ugly to the man. Even after he won his first term. Oh my God, I would have been bitch slapping him and throwing him out a window. Unfortunately, you cannot open a window, I found out today, because they're bulletproof and they weigh about 600 pounds, according to President Trump. He was answering Peter's question. I watched Peter grow up. He's Steve's son from Fox. And Fox started in San Antonio while I was still there. The Simpsons were a commercial. And finally, I thought, what's going on? I get to Georgia. And, women these days, and in my day, you work 2 jobs and your kids made you something to eat, In college, 1 job, you had 2 jobs. I mean, you always did. You You were never there. You were there on whatever day you had off, and that was house cleaning, washing, drying up. Yeah. So we've all done it, and you're doing it now, I'm sure. There's just so many hours in a day, and somehow back then I wasn't retired, and I could. That's just annoying me. I took this down, and I'm going to have to switch it in just a little bit on the lapel side because the lapels don't say where they're supposed to, and I don't like that. It annoys me. I'm one of those people who think if you're going out, you better be dressed. In my house, I only had him for 9 years. I left at 17 for the Army. Mom signed for me. Dad wouldn't talk to me. World War II or Army vet, Navy vet would not speak to me. As soon as I got accepted, and I had to take all the stuff, and Mom had to do a sign, and I was accepted at that point. And that's when he stopped talking to me. He never spoke to me again. I have no idea why. Um, I don't know why. It really bugs me to this day because I appreciated them very much. And the adopted mother just kept saying, he's demented. He don't know. He really was demented by not long after I enlisted anyway. So it still was rough. You think you're doing something great because you're killing yourself. My eyelashes hurt for months. We had Vietnam Airborne Rangers, and the captain, the CO, said he's asked us to all to ground our shit. We're finally where our company can sleep. We were Bravo Company, 3rd Battalion, and it was fairly new. These barracks were, and he said, "Well, we just wanted you to know we used to jump out of helicopters and kill people." And before he could say another word, I literally fell down laughing. I couldn't stop. It was catching. So at one point, probably all 100 of us were laughing. I don't know. But finally, I'm like, quiet down. He's just standing there. He's trying not laughing to see it. And finally he goes, I've got your personnel record here. Ain't you private first class bullock? I'm like, oh shit. I had rank. They didn't. A regular private, when they go in, they don't have one chevron. I had a couple. And he said, so you're from Cook County? Chicago, Cook County. I said, yes, sir. He said, are you sure about that? I said, yes, sir. And it was like, I got a title. Yes, drill sergeant. I'm from there. He's like, you don't have a record. One of the funniest things ever happened to me. I was like, no, sir, I don't. And I was a really good kid, so I wouldn't have that record. I didn't want that record. No, I was trying to be good at it. And he was like, from now on, your nickname's Wicked. And you stick next to me when you are not being done with the whole company. I've got some stuff you can take care of. And you're going, oh, fuck, I'm so fucked. I had just turned 18. Very sheltered 18. I didn't even date, technically. I was engaged at one point, but yeah, way into, I knew I was leaving kind of thing. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. But we trained with the men. If the men did 50 pull-ups, we did 50 pull-ups. You talk about doing a pull-up. I challenge anybody watching me. Just go do one. At Fort Jackson in South Carolina, so it's in the rain. It's always in the rain, it seems like. But it was definitely in the sand. And at that point, we probably rather the sand was wet because every time we went, it was like you sunk down. So you had to, work twice as hard to get a step. And the more you weighed, the further down you went in this shit. It's like quicksand. I digress. It was a lot of fun. What's that movie? Private Benjamin. To give you a little idea. Not a lot, but she's pretty good at it. So yeah, it's the best one I got. But there were no fighter pilots who were women. There were no firefighters. There were no women that were allowed to do that. So yeah, I kicked down that door. And now, I just love these guys. I just love knowing that they're out there and that they are well trained and they trained just like the men. And I heard they had started training the women differently. And I said, then they're not destined for the front line. They wouldn't be by me. And I'd have a problem if you tried to put it there. Nope. No, I don't think so. this didn't look so hot to me. I don't know what training she's had, but I'm not carrying her through the jungle or what. I also said I would mention Charlie Kirk's name every day that I came online. I do not want that boy's baton to drop. I want somebody picking it up, carrying it forward. I also don't want to say anything about the young widow. I think it's time to give her space. If I disagree or if I agree, it's not my decision. It's not my place. It's certainly not my place to judge someone else. I'm not walking in those shoes. Some say she's been there, she's smiling. Some say she's doing this or that. Leave her alone. A wife, when she becomes a widow, should have at least 1 to 2 years of being left alone. If you've got nothing good to say or do, leave her the fuck alone. Don't be out there saying she did this or she didn't do that. It isn't up to you to agree. You're not walking in this girl's shoes. And I can't say if I agree or disagree. I'm not going to. It's, again, not something that I can say, and I will not judge her or anyone else. Because if I'm not mistaken, the judge said, not the judge said, we'll say it the other way. What's that? There's a saying. Oh, yeah, Jesus. Judge not lest ye be judged. That's what I was trying to bring to mind. You can throw a rock in a glass house, but nobody's perfect. And in her situation, nobody, or anyone's situation, you should be judging. For me, it's therefore by the grace of God go I. It could have been any one of us. The terrible thing has happened. We can all speculate. And Candace, I believe in what you're doing, girl. I really do. I like you. I've watched you for a long time. But at this point, just take a breath. Woosa. Give them a break. Take a breath. Step back for your own good and for your kids' good. Take a breath. Like, go to some place that doesn't have an internet for a week. Give yourself and your family a break. You deserve it. I know you were a good friend of his. You have been unceasingly and untiring about it. And I admire you very much for that. But it's enough for right now. I know you may not think so, but take a break. And both of you need one. And cut the widow some slack. It could be you. That's the way I always think about it. So, in my head, I'll say a woman who weighs 500 pounds sitting on one of the little, I call them the cripple carts, so that it's leaning one way. But it's not up to me to judge. She has to live with walking and weighing 400 pounds. And I'm not sure how anyone does that, but she does, or he does. So it's not up to me to judge. And I say, again, but for the grace of God, go on. The accident that I sustained, I could not walk for 10 months. And then I'm still in therapy. The accident occurred 2 weeks before the storm did, Hurricane Helene, and shut the city down for 2 weeks, no nothing. And my husband managed to keep me cooled off and fed and so forth and so on, the lights on. We couldn't record for cable, but there was all kinds of stuff on TV. It was really wild. I mean, it was really wild to me. I was like, geez, we just watched Gunsmoke for a week. I mean, but I didn't get my surgery that day. So finally, 2 weeks later, here it's been a month, I'm just patched together with ace wraps and told not to move it, not step on it. It's been a month. You can imagine. It was one of the worst injuries you could do to your ankle and your leg. There's only 2 bones in the leg, and I got them both really well. I mean, they were not where they were supposed to be. Ankle partially disconnected. So, yeah. They tell you to take Tylenol. I kept thinking if I could just make this wheelchair go a little bit faster, I could beat it down and give me Tylenol. Those thoughts come through your head. They did mine anyway. I kept thinking, well, next time we're talking, I'm always up high. I could punch you directly in the face, give it Tylenol. Someday one of us whole women are going to do that. Usually we're the ones that have bail money. Kind of rough. Mimosa. I started late today. And since it's such a shit day out there, I would say, pardon me, but this is what this is all about. Come talk. Talk about anything. It's Social Woodstock. It's free. When I came back from that, this is where I was going. When I came back from that 10-month hiatus, I was like getting ready. My husband ended up buying me 2 more sets because like half the first set of equipment weren't working. Not right. It would work for one thing, not another. It was just at the end. I still wasn't walking well. I was still using what I call my little car yet. um, it was great because it would also you could snap that down. You could sit on it. I still got it. It's the greatest thing. Cost $4,000. Yeah. Velcro, a couple wheels. What can you do these days? We get the equipment, we get it up and running. My channel won't run right. Ran great for the first 5-6 days, and then suddenly it just would not live stream. And I do mine, like I said, I do it live. I throw in the can in the hopes that I will have 4 seconds to sit down and edit it. And I never do. So pretty much what you see is what you get. I forget where I was even going with that one. I really did. I'm old. Oh. That was where I was thinking. The West Wing. Okay. Y'all bitched when he got like this $1 billion fucking plane. And he's putting it in the museum. Didn't cost us shit. Nothing. You bitched. By you, I mean I've learned the legacy media. Yeah. I'm still a little too loud. I never know which way to go with it. I'm like, seriously? Jealous much? Now, he did warn people about putting in the ballroom. He's talked about it since about, I think, his 2nd month in office. He was, he was, I think, he's been talking about it. And he showed us pictures of what it's supposed to look like. And I'm like, go Donnie, Obama put in a basketball court. What's he going to do? Show the goddamn leader from that lives next to Versailles? How you like my basket court? Idiots. Stupid. That costed the taxpayers a fucking dime. You don't have to read a fucking book anymore. I would say again, I'm sorry I have salty language, but I'm not sorry. I learned that women had to be soldiers first, and women when they got around to it, and I like that. As far as these women today, they had better be training with the soldiers, right? I understand that wasn't what the case was. I talked to my grandson about it. I was like, I don't want no woman in a foxhole with my grandson if you're not a soldier. If you're up there mincemeating and doing 5 push-ups, get out. The military's not for you. Tulsi Gabbard, talk to her. I love that girl. And there's a couple of them. I love them. It's great. Mind you, it was the 70s that I knocked down the door. So here we are X amount of years later, and women can do anything that a man can do, except the men can't have the baby. It used to be, but without the man, you can't get the baby. But not so much. Poor men. Yeah, they're worried they might have to do a dish or take out the trash. With mine, I got to throw a ticker tape fucking parade of takes it. Yeah, I got the trash. That's good. You put it all there. Man, can't kill them. People frown on that shit. With as many women on the justice of the Supreme Court, you'd think they'd ease up on that restriction. They say, I remember 400 things when I get off, and I'm going to be gotten off shortly. Or forget what I was going to talk about. Let the West Wing go again. Woosa. It's $200 and some odd million, and we're not paying for it. Get over it. We need shit like that. Have you seen Versailles? Have you seen St. Petersburg? Have you seen Paris? I have. It makes the White House, and I said that in the 80s, which is probably the Clintons, but in any event, It didn't even look like the White House. It looked like the Gray House. I don't know when the last time they had slapped a coat of paint on that bitch in the 80s, but it was a while because it looked terrible. And I mean, I was inside as well. I was top as securities clearance. My ex mother in law created the food stamp program that you use today. So you can again guess my age. Oh, y'all so sweet. But yeah, it was drabby. It was dreary. Even the furniture was kind of worn down, and it didn't pop or anything. And maybe if people had gotten out of in the world first, I mean, in other nations and so forth, before they became president, they would have said, "Wow, this is so great." Jackie Kennedy, the whole time, and God bless her, she didn't have long. She had to find the articles that belonged to the White House, like the Lincoln bedroom. I understand Tyler Perry has one of Lincoln's chairs. You know, this isn't, that's not, this should be sold to, I don't think, but she did a really good job of finding as much as she could that either had been in the White House maybe for a certain amount of time or what have you. Like again, the Lincoln bedroom. And Jackie spent many, many days doing that and making it better, having it painted and so forth. Bless her. But I can't remember any other. Yeah, Nixon put in a. I can't think of the name of it. Shit, bowling alley. It's just I died laughing here, and every time I think about it, I die laughing about it. But, um, yeah, if you think about it, there's been very few changes. What few changes there were didn't really bother the fat cage of the White House. But it always looked to me, I mean, I've seen basketball places that are better looking. I mean, come on. It needed to be done. And I've seen what Eli kind of referred to a little bit was the gold and stuff that's coming in, but it's gorgeous. It looks good. It looks presidential. It doesn't have furniture from 1987. It looks great. The only thing he did was keep what's the desk. I can't think of the name of it offhand, but anyway, he kept made sure he had that. Just I think there's four they could choose from. But I mean, when I was there, it was like a poor relation's house. It was horrible. I said so. Anybody want to listen? I had a senator tell me all the time Watergate was open back then, had a nice bar, wasn't too far from where we were. And I used to run in there to get some kind of sandwich. And I knew I'd end up with at least one or two martinis or what have you. I knew most of the Senate and some of the House, and you just get to know folk when you're there. And I didn't work at the White House. Don't mistake me. I did not work at the White House. But with people that we knew, my ex-mother-in-law knew, I could, go with two or three of the guys, and I could go see a bunch of new stuff that most people couldn't see. But one of the senators, they was always buying me a drink, and we would talk. We would do just like Charlie did with Turning Point. We had different and we disagreed on things, but it was funny and it was fun. And he used to just laugh and laugh, and I was just, girl, they go shoot you. You got to move. And finally, I took his warning seriously. Love went back to Texas, but he was so funny. I'm gonna miss him. I can't say his name. I'm not going to. It's not right. I'm not a name dropper. He was just another guy sitting with me at a lunch break. I mean, and we would go at it. And half the time, though, he thought I was so funny. Half the time, he was falling out and saying, "Well, you missed your calling." I was like, "What? Being shot?" And he would go off again. So that was a lot of fun. But I don't think there's anything wrong, and that's why I got on my tirade with him doing that and somebody else paying for it. It does change the fuck out of the building. Good. Now add on the other wing, I hope, before he leaves. You need things like that. I don't know where you're going to put somebody that's living close to the Louvre or lives in Paris, what have you, but lives in the splendors and beauty that our ancestors put up so many hundreds of years ago. And ours is only a couple hundred years old, and it's gray, and it's got bad furniture, and it don't now. It looks great, just a little bit he's been doing. And I consider that a little bit because I've seen these places in Europe. So, yes, take a break, take a deep breath, and wait for the results. And then have something to say. We won't pay no attention to you then either, but you can talk about it. You can come here and talk about it. Wonder why my friends don't pop in. They never drop in and say, "Hey, what's shaking?" None of them will come on air with me. Everybody's scared. I don't know what everybody's scared of. It's just the most amazing thing technology has. I don't know what I'd do without it. I used to have a lot of things to do on Facebook, posting all the time. It took up much of my time. And when I started, like I said, the podcast, I knew Charlie and a few others were doing podcasts. And I still didn't think too much about it, and I was going to have my bar. We got this huge bar. Took out the dining room and made it the bar. And saw the bar. I love it. Don't have to call an Uber. He keep putting weird shit up there to drink. It keeps me with my stiffeners. I have nothing to complain about. I'll put it that way. I love it here. But the friends, they're all too shy. I just wanted to talk because, and they are African American, and I'm like, what would you think of reparations and stuff? Because they'll talk about that here at the bar. But they'll make sure my equipment's not on. It will not go on. But they're having the conversations that I want to have here on the air, but they will not do it. I don't know if they're afraid. I don't know if they're shy. It could be any of those things. And we're retired, so we don't have a lot of people over. Plus, we started throwing the parties about a decade ago, and suddenly we noticed people dropping out. We hadn't seen you in 3 years. We're into Walmart. Oh, yeah, I've been busy. Oh, you just weren't drinking my free hoops. That's what. I mean, I love birthday parties. I always do it as a birthday party, anniversary party. Everybody came, everybody drank. Nobody brought a card. They didn't bring a card. I did this for like 25 years. I was like, if that's what they want to be, I don't need. I see no reason to have the party. So we just started going out on our own after that. I like the comedy club. I like to sit in the front row, and they would give me free tickets, so I'd do that. I'd sit in the front row and fuck with them. Half the time I end up on stage. Yeah, you think you can do that? And I'm like, fuck yeah. God laughs. Huh? Again, they do say that this is for entertainment purposes only. And I kind of agree with that. Actually, I thoroughly agree with that. I don't think you should have to hit or miss or peck or what have you when you have this kind of technology. If you don't agree with someone, you can do so pleasantly and keep your honor, keep your manners in check. I'm not going to take out a person because I don't believe in what they believe in. Now, if they get in my face with a bullhorn, yeah, that's a problem. They're not going to like what the ER has to do to get that bitch out, but they can do that. That's legal. And what I returned is legal. They still have it. I got bail money. I'm fucking old. Who cares? I heard one time they were trying to prove that college kids were still the smart guys on the block. And it was a YouTuber. They said, I don't know if that meant he didn't have a podcast, but he contributed or what. But he was a YouTuber, and that's all they said. He was a YouTuber. So he used to go around, and I caught him one day. It was like I love Kitchen Charlie. Prove me wrong. I loved that. In any event, he's going around. There's these three girls sitting on a picnic blanket, and they're definitely drinking. And so he stops and he says, guys, I'm asking questions here for something. Would you be willing to answer a couple of questions for us? Okay, well, what's it about? Well, it's like multiple choice in it. Well, what do you mean multiple choice? I mean, well, we're going to ask just questions about different things. She says it's not multiple choice per question. This is no. By then I know they're stupid. So I'm like, oh, well, this is going to be good. So this damn thing won't play. He says, okay. And all three of you can answer the question, or one of you, it doesn't matter. And I said, okay, okay. And he goes, who was the first person to walk on the sun? They argued for 30 minutes among themselves. I think one of them came up with Armstrong. I about laughed till I cried. I was like, oh my God. And we have to leave everything in these, well, I don't even know what they are. And how much were there? If I was a parent and I saw that, and I saw my kid answer that way, first I would have beat them about the face and shoulders for a while. The red hair does it every time. But I would have had a problem with that answer. So, although funny it was. Yes, I keep playing with my hair. Usually on a day when it does this, it doesn't straighten. But I bought a new straightener. My mother used to straighten it for me with an iron. It's naturally curly, and I don't like that. As a businesswoman, I've always been a businesswoman, so and it frizzes up, and it will today because I'll take everything, all the headphones and stuff off, and it'll do a Shirley Temple thing. Always fun, yeah. So I'm seeing that these college students don't seem to be very intelligent. Now you can use the word university, you can use the word college. They're incredibly stupid. They're just stupid. There's no other way around that question. They're stupid. The parents should have a problem right now. They should really, really have a problem. And hundreds of thousands of dollars being spent. And yeah, I would have a problem. I even asked my son that. I've asked him to come on, and my daughter-in-law. I've known my daughter-in-law since she was in high school, and so a long time. Yeah, his my grandson is, of course, my son's son, and he's already an Army veteran. So I won't mention ages, but thanks for the compliment. Mimosa. I've been cheating since 9. I had Irish coffee before then. Basically, by the time 4 or 5 gets here, I'm sobering up and I need to just go to bed. Oh, love the orange juice. So, talked about the subject, that subject, me. And since I don't have you on the other side of the screen yelling, thank goddess, or what have you, I just try to go with whatever it is that everybody seems to be screaming about for that day. So I lose half my time because I'm spitching through it. And I do not watch legacy media, as they now call it. I haven't watched it in decades. I was like, this isn't the news. This is a political change. I know. I carry a press badge. I worked as press for several years. I know thereof what I speak, and they ain't the news. Maybe because I did grow up with Walter Cronkite. Excuse me, and Dan Rather. Although Rather, I think, might have had a problem. I grew up with them. I grew up with them announcing that John F. Kennedy had been killed. I was 4. His name is John Jr., which killed me. That they took 5 days to go exactly where his flight plan said he would be, even if he didn't fire one. He'd been doing it for years. And they didn't look there until the stuff started washing ashore. But I won't digress. The world wept. At least my world wept. And when I saw John Jr. saluting that coffin, the only thing I could think about, I was reading all kinds of stuff by the time I was 4, was that I would not forget and I would investigate further on my own. Because they really didn't say much about it back then. It was they reported the news. So there wasn't all this stuff until like the 80s, 70s maybe, that they started saying, I got a question about this one, the magic bullet, yada, yada. I had already, done that for 20 years. And none of it made sense. I don't guess it ever will. When I heard what happened with Charlie Kirk, that he'd been shot. Then the president said he had passed, lowered the flags. I had hit my knees and I said, "Oh my God, it's going to be another JFK." Now, where I got that idea, I have no flaming fucking idea. I had only been, it had been maybe 3 or 4 minutes that I had come in from shopping and I'd heard this and I had switched over to Joe Rogan because he was broadcasting live like I do. And I wanted to see in real time somebody I could trust that would know the facts, at least whether he'd been shot and he had died. Nor did I actually, uh, I knew when President Trump said he had gone. I knew he had gone, but I wanted, of course, to know what the hell and why was I crying so much. I was just sobbing. And because he was such a great kid. To me, he was still a kid. He's just a few years older than my grandson. Actually could have been my grandson. And so it really broke me. I hadn't felt like that since Princess Diana died. And that's another conspiracy we could talk about if anybody wants to jump in there. Same with Marilyn Monroe. I wanted to talk about the autopsies pictures that I saw. So anybody want to talk about those? Pop in here and let me know. And boy, do we have a conversation waiting for you. I'm not going to do it if I don't have nobody to tell. They'll be listening. They don't care. Mm. My husband kept watching me relight my little, I call it my little cigar or my cigarillo. He went out and bought one of these. He had a little snippet. So he's so funny that way. Well, right now he's waiting for me to get offline so that I can make link sausages and his special apple cinnamon pancakes for brunch. Since neither of us ever stopped this morning to do any breakfast. And ordinarily, now he's out running around or something, and he'll bring back a biscuit, a donut. He'll bring something back for me to eat. But he's like me today. It's like we're looking outside going, "No, you think the cats are in the tent?" Because I moved most of the plants to the little tent, like I said, that he had put up for my plants. Because that way we could put the heater in there and they wouldn't die, I hope. I also thank you for putting up with that. I have dry lips. It's really gotten cold here. The kittens, we left 2 big cushions off of our dining room. I call it dining room table, but it's out on the patio. I put 2 of those in there so that they could huddle up and get on there and be warm and it's soft. We've got 2 boxes on the front porch and a plastic liner with blankets and things in there. We're hoping they can get in those because we don't know how many there are, but we've seen kittens. And the weather dropped dramatically here and just overnight. I had to turn it from. It's what it always says. One day you get up and you go, "It's fucking cold," and turn the thermostat from cold to heat, and you go, "Wait for it. Is it still working?" We've put in 3 different systems, so it's been 4 since we've lived here. Longest place I've lived in my entire life. We've been here 13 years, 14 years, something along that line. We've never, he too, I think the longest he said he lived somewhere was 8 years. But we both moved around all our lives with careers and kids, and we had all of it with us. Get your shit, we gotta go. Poor kids. Mine was born in Heidelberg, Germany, so it should give you an idea that I might have run around just a little bit. A little bit. Mm. You've got one of those stupid things up there. Probably, are you watching or skip? I never know which. There's also this big mirror that comes with the bar. It's on the other side, so I can see because we've got the television mounted. He did all this for me just before my accident. He pulled out all the carpets and he mounted the television. He painted everything, put in the wood flooring. Then asked, if he could have the bar, and he thought it was a small bar. It looked great to me. I said, "Sure." And he called me and he said, "Babe, this is a bar that you could have at a bar." I said, "Okay, well, you need to, what do you still want to buy it?" And he was like, "Oh yeah." And I said, "Is it the same price?" He said, "Yeah." I'll explain later, but I just wanted you to know. I said, "Okay." When he got here, it took up the whole living room because we hadn't taken down the dining room yet. So he bought me a huge china cabinet. I call it a hutch like they have in Germany. And it fit both my china cabinets and all that went in there. So all the rest of the stuff came out, the chairs, the tables, and he made all that for me. So we don't really want to get rid of it, and the china cabinet. So they're all out there in storage, and we just put up a bar. It's turned out great. It really has. So yes, I give some of us retirement. It's kind of fun. See, I've run through so many of the topics that he has to wait on me. He really does. Bless his heart. He doesn't want to be on. Like I said, nobody wants to come on. And I saw everybody doing this. And I said, well, this is going to be fun. Yeah, I'm at the bar. Well, I didn't know Bill Maher had a Bill Maher had a bar. I say that 3 times fast. Maybe I should make breakfast. And those that don't have a bar turned it into one, which is cool. But I thought, okay, I've got this. I got the bar. Anybody can come by the bar. Nobody wants to stop in. So I stayed with it. I had been broadcasting every day for 9 months, including the weekends. I put on a podcast every day live for 9 months, and I had a following. I guess that's what they call it. A few. And then when I returned and I put out that I had been broken and it was going to take a long time for me to come back together. I've got more metal than the $6 million woman. Google it. So, I mean, and it was very much major surgery and couldn't use it for 10 months. So it's not a lot you can do if you can't use one of your legs. Well, for me, they gave me crutches and we got home and he handed me the crutches and I got up and I said, catch me, catch me, catch me. I couldn't even stand with him. And at that point, I was still on pain meds. They treated me for pain every so often after I called and bothered them, and some other doctor would come up. One of them finally gave me real pain pills, gave me 45. I was so shocked. I cut them in half to make them last longer, which was smarter because finally, when I did have it, the surgery, which took 15 hours, extra strength Tylenol. That's again, like I said, I don't know, but I hope one of us older women are going to beat the shit out of some little novice who's in the ER and tells me to take Tylenol because I won't throw a bottle of Tylenol at his ass. They're charging $20 for that shit too, 20 odd bucks. They should be shot. I find out that I knew Anacin worked better for me as, it's not a narcotic. And that seems to have been a real big problem. I don't care. Don't know why. People with their fucking leg in fucking pieces should be able to take a pain pill so that they could at least rest at night. When I finally got able to put weight on the foot and had to practice, and it was agonizing. It still is. By the afternoon, it's swollen. Your leg is, you just can't go any further. So it's never going to go back. So you're going to be in pain the rest of your life. Your leg is going to look like this the rest of your life. This is why all of my gowns go to the floor. I bought a lot of clothes in the last 10 months. 12 months, I guess, yeah, since it happened. I have a lot of the 50s line that comes down to mid-calf and flares. So I like that look, and I can hide most of my scarring. And if I'm going somewhere, I'll take the full length. And they're very nice. I like all of them. They have pockets. Who knew? I used to wear, I always wore business clothes, but when I got home, I would get rid of those and throw jeans on, pants on, what have you. Depending on the weather, I used to run around in skirts, Can't do that. Not at my age anyway. So they weren't great for me, I think. And some of them I get to rate, and then they might send me something else. Now, my collar here, it does not stay the way it's supposed to. I'm going to have to baste down. It looks like I have to baste the stitch up here and then it will do it. But it's supposed to just cross. It keeps getting wider. I'm like, I don't like that. Look, I'll change it. I had already hemmed it. Like ladies, if you're only in like 5 foot to 5'4", if you order a large size, it's generally going to be too long. So get ready to either hem it yourself, and you can learn anything on Google. I happen to have had home ec and took it, so I know how to sew. But it's not hard. They have these little machines. I won one. I love this thing. I don't even set up my big singer anymore. I just pull out my little one. So much more room to do things like you're making a dress and all that. You need half the house with my other one, but with this tiny little thing, it works great. It really does. I'm refurbishing an old ball gown I have now, midnight blue satin with the little seated pearls. It needs a new zipper, and I'm going to change the way it looks, take it up a little bit so it's more of a tea dress, not high up to the knees or anything, but a little bit, have it layered. It's going to have 3 layers. But it's also a pain because it has crinolines, and those are really rough to pull up. And I'm thinking of just cutting them. I would if they wouldn't snag it. I'm coming up on my last bit. And I'll get off and I'll go, oh, I didn't talk about this or I didn't talk about that. This is why he lets me have these guys. So when I'm up here, they go out. So they could last a week. Mm. Yeah, I know another thing somebody could riddle me. How can one person say we're not going to pass the bill so nobody in the government gets paid? They're saying Chuck Schumer. What's he got on the rest of them? Somebody said, oh, well, he has to listen because this, that, or the other. Congress still got fucking paid. I don't know. Donald Trump should shut that shit down right then. They don't get paid. You don't get fucking paid. But they got paid. Yeah. Those $15,000 plan rise that Bernie Sanders takes, well, he's got to do that. That's what everybody does. Those $4 million homes he's got, and 4 of them he's got. Yeah, those are my homes. So what? But everybody else is not supposed to have money in 3 or 4 homes. What? Just the members of Congress that make $170,000 a year and suddenly file taxes on $30 million AOC. The people are supposed, these fucks, they're fucktards. They have one fucking job. One fucking job. And they make fucking millions while they're in there. Okay? Trashing my fucking country. Trashing who the fucking president is. And somebody should be arrested for that shit. They just finally upheld the you can't burn a flag. We couldn't even let the flag touch the ground. It would have had to have been disposed of properly had someone been stupid enough to drop it. And these bastards are setting in a fire. Do that in front of me. Please do that in front of me. You will dance, motherfucker. Sorry. Not sorry. Really, no. So who told them they could do that? Where's the money coming from? These people couldn't be out of work and school all day, every day. How did they get 12,000 on campus in tents where they're shitting in a bucket? Oh, they're community members. Well, that's a nice term. Get out. I love what they're doing on getting these criminals. For God's sakes, help me. The man that had killed that little girl from the Ukraine war, she was just a little baby. Stabbed her 4 times in the neck in front of everybody. And God, nobody went to help that kid. She died. She just lived through a war. And they let that little girl die alone. What the fuck does that say about them? A lot. It says a fucking lot. And people need to recognize that. Therefore, the grace of God, go I. South Carolina? I never imagined. Really? I did not know that Washington, D.C. was such a crime-ridden area, or that they had homeless people living on the mall. I used to go to the mall for the smoke can when I was down there. Loved that. one of the guys on the horses, I'd see them and get a ride back to where my ex-mother-in-law were. The smoking meant you could smoke pot that day. They wouldn't arrest you for it. We had the Beach Boys. I don't even know if they have it anymore, guys. I really don't, but it was great. But I had no idea the Capitol looked like that shit. When I heard there was a mayor of the Capitol, I said, what the fuck are you talking about? When did they fucking get a mayor? They never had a fucking mayor. It's DC. What do you mean they have a fucking mayor? Oh, they got a mayor. She's painting Black Lives Matter. Really? Then they have a fucking flaming flash out because he says, okay, well, Seattle's still burning. Better send some folk out there to help put it out. Newsom destroyed the Palisades. I'm still not so sure he didn't do it so he would put the athletic and so forth people right there or whoever from the Olympics. But now California don't get the Olympics. That's taken back. Thank you, Lord. What is it? What is it with the hands anyway? Is he controlling puppets we can't see? Talking to deaf prostitutes or something? What the hell is that? Telling how to type out SOS. 1, 2, 3, dot, dot. 1, 2, 3, dot, dot. Give him something to do with his hands. How do these fucking people keep getting reelected? I keep looking. People, there's another pet peeve. The ballot is supposed to be fucking your own. It's private. In other words, nobody, including your fucking spouse, should know how you fucking vote. It's a secret fucking ballot. Look it the fuck up. Apparently, the Electoral College votes in the president, but like Donald Trump says, I won the electoral vote, but I also won the people's vote. Now, call me stupid. I don't vote. I figured it's a fait accompli. Why bother? However, since I heard this from Donnie, I will probably try to vote. Don't put on the hats. Don't put it on your fucking lawn. And then get upset because somebody doesn't like it. Idiots. Idiots. Check out some historical period classics. I don't know, Ebenezer Scrooge. Fuck. Check out something. It'll tell you. Fuck. Type it up on Google. I did. I thought that was fascinating. Who votes in the American president? Who votes in the American president? I got time. Show of hands. I got time. That's right. The Electoral College does. What's gerrymandering? I see I'm running out of time again. Look it up. It means they get to add new districts. It means they get to add new people to vote the way they want them to vote. What did 22 million people get into this country for? Oh, yeah, because they wanted to make sure, they're grateful to us because we're putting them in hotels. We're giving them money. We're giving them, I'm going to shoot somebody. It's treason on steroids, people. It's treason in your fucking face on steroids. We could teach Russia. Y'all are good with that? I don't fucking see how. Shut your mouth. Do not donate. If they want to buy a fucking seat, let them get their own damn wallet out. Quit buying the fucking goddamn seats. If they're running for Senate, okay, bye-bye. Good luck with that. Don't give them a dime. The DNC, the RNC, whatever this is all about, quit giving them money. Oh, I know there's going to be people like Lily and so forth and so on, and Chevron. They're going to make some good donations. So why the fuck should you give them $5? Do not give them any money. Don't let people know who you're going to vote for. Use the fucking curtain and vote in privacy. I bet that might be interesting if we all did. And you shouldn't be able to cast a vote by mail, by email or whatever the fuck all drone unless they've thoroughly vetted your fucking ass and said, here is your ballot. You have to use ID to get a motherfucking hamburger. Get your ass ID and show it when you vote. And by the way, California, you should be held responsible for sending out 65,000 sons of bitches on CDLs, a commercial driver's license, with semis going into other states that can't speak English and have never fucking driven a CDL license needed for it. Semi. A semi is something, it's a fucking 80-mile-an-hour bomb aimed at the fucking van with the 4 kids coming back from the skating rink. People, wake up. You ain't got a lot of time left. This media may not be here all the time. I don't mean to lecture. I just got on it at the end of it. But it makes me angry. This isn't the country I served for decades. This is being a hijack of your country. This is a fucking coup without a shot fired. Wake up. You need to be the one fucking firing back before we have to do what we did when Sumter fired at us. Look it up. We don't want civil war. What do you want? They want civil war. And they're damn close to getting it in some countries. Have you seen Britain lately? No. They're not going to arrest the Muslims that are burning shit down. No. They're going to arrest the British because the British said, you can't stay here freedom. Well, we got no more money and we have people who need houses. Wake up. Wake the absolute fuck up. I don't know where you've been. We had Weekend at Bernie's for 4 years with that little bastard, which his family should be held accountable for. It should be in jail. There's a lot of it should be in jail. Treason is still fucking treason. If this was 1880, they'd have done been swinging from a gibbet. Look it up. That's my tirade for today. Come and talk to me about it. Anybody got an idea? Anybody got a shot? Bring it. Huh? Anybody? Really? I got live chat up there, bitches. I got comment down here, bitches. We're live for a reason. You don't have anything? Huh. I gotta say, I'm not impressed with these so-called journalists then. Because I managed this entire age group. Might behoove you to speak to me after all. Or I can still keep doing this for fun. And I'd rather go for the latter. Because I'm going to leave it in the hands of my kid and my grandkids. But I'm not holding out much hope for my country even doing that. And that, folks, is what scares me. So if you see me, hit the like. Hope you were entertained. It's for entertainment purposes only. Hit the like, hit the don't like. I give a shit. Hit a comment. Tell me you want to see something. You want to talk about something. Anything. I will talk to you about anything, I promise you. And I hope that, like Charlie, I keep control of my anger and only remember it's a debate. So go out there and make it a good day, folks. And let's make sure that America is still America. God bless.